Now the floor is given to Colonel Dmytro Hutsulyak, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson on ATO-related issues. Good afternoon, everyone. During the last 24 hours, once again, a trend to decrease of activity of Russian occupation forces was observed, but the enemy continued to use weapons that are prohibited by the Minsk agreements. Also, during the last 24 hours at the line of confrontation, there were no casualties among our forces. In the Lugansk sector, the enemy 4 times delivered shellings of our defense positions. Twice, our positions near Lugansk and near Lugansk, that is in Svetlodarsk Bulge, came under enemy fire. The enemy delivered fire with the use of 120 and 82 millimeter of mortars, anti-tank grenade launchers, and large caliber machine guns. 2 more enemy shellings with the use of small arms and grenade launchers of different types were recorded in the region of Krymsk and Novolugansk. In the Donetsk sector, during the last 24 hours, the enemy only once opened fire in the direction of the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine. This happened in the region of Pavlopil, and this was shelling with the use of mortars of 120 and 82 millimeter of caliber. All 5 shellings were identified as precision ones. On the whole, Russian occupation forces launched in the direction of Ukrainian positions 30 mines using mortars of 120 and 82 millimeter of caliber. In 2 instances, servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine were forced to return fire using weaponry that is not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. During the last 24 hours at the front line, there were no casualties among our forces. According to information provided by the main intelligence department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Command of Southern Military District of Armed Forces of Russian Federation, that is in Rostov-on-Don, carry out planned measures to increase professionalism of the military personnel, including with the participation of the units and large units of the so-called 1st and 2nd Army Corps of Russian occupation forces. It was identified that at the end of February this year, in the territory of Russia, they organized advanced training courses for officers of the leadership of so-called 1st and 2nd Army Corps and subordinate units, including staff officers, heads of support services, and communication officers. Overall number of joint groups of these officers planned for training is about 200 people. Yesterday, servicemen of civil and military cooperation of the armed forces once again delivered bread to the residents of Travneva and Gladosova. Also, they coordinated the work to restore Semigiria-Travnev road, and in the nearest future the works will be completed and local residents will be provided with opportunity to get to facilities of social infrastructure. And servicemen of armed forces of Ukraine also visited Center of Social Rehabilitation for Disabled Kids in Avdiivka. Officers of Group of Civil and Military Cooperation Semik Avdiivka provided clothes, footwear, and toys that were collected in the framework of All School Action, Children to Children, held in Rivne. Pedagogical staff of Avdiivka Center of Social Rehabilitation of Disabled Kids and children and their parents expressed sincere gratitude to children from Rivnenshina. Now about other important news. In Kiev, there was a working meeting of head of General Staff, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General of the Army of Ukraine, Viktor Muzhenko, with foreign advisor from Great Britain on the issues of financing and management and audit. Phil Johnson, and they discussed the process of reform of the system of management of the armed forces of Ukraine and further introduction of NATO standards. They spoke about introduction of the new capabilities in the system of management of the forces in the framework of strategic program of defense reform. And also on the 1st of March, we mark 2 years since we have in our media space unique radio that is called Army FM. And the majority of Ukrainians know about this radio, especially those who serve in the military, and repel enemy aggression in the east of our state. The Minister of Defense of Ukraine, General of the Army of Ukraine, Stepan Poltorak, stated that Army FM is now the serious means of information support for our defenders. And also it is really important that Army Wave is now cover the line of confrontation with the enemy, and the programs are heard not only by our servicemen but also by the citizens in the occupied territories, and this creates adequate counteraction to the endless Russian media zombieing of residents of Donbas. And the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Stepan Poltorak, wished Army FM military journalists to have further creative achievements and wish them to have new successful radio projects. No questions? Thank you.